All right, good morning. How are y'all? 9 o'clock on this dreary
Morning.
day. Wow, what a week. It's obviously Ian's going to dominate, but we'll talk about a few things today, and then I want to hear from y'all. There's a ton going on as it relates to this storm. But before I get there, we want to celebrate today National Extra Virgin Olive Oil Day. Because why not, right? We do it every other, and but more apropos for this group is Ask a Stupid Question Day. Hey, we can roll with it. Anyway, what a mess we got out there today. I know, Tom, you've shut your classes down today. I'm sure USC has, local schools have. And rightly so, because of the wind conditions are going to make it kind of tenuous for buses to be out on the road. So anyway, my kids are at home, thus I am in the office. Anyway, but let me tell you, I was doing a little bit of studying. I grew up on the East Coast of North Carolina, and we always had hurricanes. I remember growing up dealing with hurricanes, and so all of us in the Southeast are used to them. But interestingly enough, and the technology has improved so much, science has given us tools to predict where these storms are going. But Mother Nature has a mind of her own, and there is, I think a lot of people got caught flat-footed with this storm, where it was intended to go initially, then it joggled to the right. Right now, Fitz projects this one to be between 40 and 60 billion dollars, which I think is on the low end of what the impact it will have on Florida and the Carolinas. But right now, even with that, it's predicted to be one of the top 6 most costliest storms to hit the U.S. And if you think about the strongest storms that have hit the United States, most of the top 10 are 50 years ago. I mean, they're nowhere in the middle. Andrew was big, Katrina was big, but otherwise they're all way back when, at least strength of storms. But 9 out of 10 of the most costliest storms the United States have been in the last 20 years. And that's really driven by people moving to the water to the southeast, around Texas and New Orleans and Florida and the Carolinas. So watch out for this one. I think this was, I mean, just to rebuild a bridge to Sanibel and Captiva are going to be expensive. But man, I am feeling for the folks in Fort Myers. They got walloped. I don't know of another word for it, but it is. I'm sure we'll see more stories and more pictures, but the ones we've seen thus far are just unbelievable. So even, if you think about it, went over Cuba, it was a category 1, and within 12, 14 hours it became cat 4. It's unreal. And then up until yesterday, they were calling for Beaufort, then a little above Beaufort, and then Charleston, and now a little above Charleston. Who knows where this thing's going, but we'll feel it for the rest of the day. Trees are already down in parts of Columbia, and I expect to see a lot more of that. We have not had a doozy of a storm in Columbia in a while to knock out some of these dead limbs and trees. And so y'all be careful, and make sure you call your power company if trees go out or your power goes out, because they're standing by ready. But power's been out, I know, around some parts of Divine Street and in other parts of the town today because of limbs falling. So y'all be careful. And winds should be picking up. They say between 50 and 60 this afternoon. That may go down a little bit because of the way that storm is going farther. It's going up further and then cutting in further. So we will hopefully dodge a lot of it. But that means Myrtle Beach is getting a lot worse, and North Carolina is going to get a lot worse too. Anyway, we'll come back to that in a little bit. I have a question answered from Adam a little bit later. But all right, big news this morning just came out 8:30. Some of the numbers on consumer spending came out this morning, higher than projected. They expected to see something around 4.7. It came back at 4.9% higher on spending, which means the interest rates increase they've been making have not cut spending like they wanted it to, which has then caused the stocks to fluctuate a little bit more. So what you're seeing in Florida, what you're seeing on some of these financial reports, Nike stocks dropped pretty 9% yesterday. Anyway, you're going to see more volatility in the market. Storms actually are a good thing. And I mean, they're bad all the way around, don't go for individuals, but from a spending standpoint, you see a dramatic drop in spending as it relates to those local communities, especially in the Southeast. But as rebuilding goes and people get back into it with the amount of federal stimulus that comes through, it does actually help communities out. So we'll see how that impacts the fall economy. So anyway, Feds expect volatility in the market, but we've talked about that. It's going to be like that for a while. Local level, state level, the House of Representatives came back in this week and met. They did not take any of the Senate's amendments on their abortion bill. I think that was a planned deal. They're tired of talking about it for the election, so maybe a little cynical, maybe just a little. But I don't think that they come back and they won't deal with it until after the election. So we're only a month, 5 weeks away from the election, so we'll see what happens there. Local folks met this week. Council met, working session this week, but one committee to note met yesterday. The short-term rental committee met yesterday for the city of Columbia. For those new, Columbia has been talking about putting some parameters around short-term rentals, i.e. Airbnb, VRBOs, et cetera. And there were more testimonials taken yesterday. No action. They've got one more hearing planned, and then I think you'll see some recommendations coming in down the pike. I fully expect a good compromise solution to be worked out prior to, so we'll keep you posted there. But short-term rentals are not going away, especially in residential neighborhoods, but I do expect some type of registry. I expect folks that own short-term rentals will probably have to apply for a business license. And I also expect caps. So it's not fully free market there, but I think the city wants to put limits on how many of those units are in play. So more to come there. We'll, but I don't think any votes will happen before January, just FYI. So anyway, let's think. We got a lot coming down the pipe, but I'm gonna break there for a second and hear from y'all what y'all are hearing, what you're seeing, what do we need to know? Because I think Ian has dominated the news cycles the last couple of days, and so anything out there we need to know about?
Hi, Maggie here. How are you?
Maggie, good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to let you know, Maggie with iHeartRadio, if I haven't met everyone, Andrew asked me to get on my call just to kind of connect with everyone and get to know you guys. But we wanted to touch on, we serve all the communities and the power of radio right now. When the power was out, we had a lot of people tune in. So if the power goes out, and if you guys can just help us spread the word that like we are fully committed to and are wall to wall with coverage with our influencers, our network, and just our team to help spread the word for emergencies and just kind of what's happening. So make sure your speakers and everything's charged. And if you guys need anything, just reach out to the iHeart team.
Great. Thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Carl, Tara with Apple One.
Hello, Tara.
My update is sort of Ian related, but it's kind of the power of like how you can like change and stay relevant and like stay on your toes. So since COVID, we all work from home. As you can see, I'm at my house every day. We also started working more across our region and our division with other branches. And because of that, we work closely with our Florida team. We have placed over 735 people that are in critical hurricane response for insurance companies over the last couple of days. It started on Monday at 1 o'clock, and we started with groups of 50 people that we trained every day. So we're all a little weary today. We're glad it's a little rainy and that we're at home. There's a coffee pot close by that's always full. But it's really been a fun way that we've been able to work across our region and our division to help respond to those that are in need.
That's awesome. I was with someone yesterday that they were working with a company that was standing up a call center, and they were having to mobilize drug testing because every new employee has to get drug tested. So it really is amazing the how relevant things are, and how something that happens in Florida actually could boost our economy as well. So thanks for what you're doing. Glad you had a busy week. Sorry for the reason, but you got my, yeah. All right, what else is going on? I'm trying to click on and see everybody. All right. We are all, for those that are not from the Carolinas, and as I mentioned at the beginning, we're not immune to big storms that come through. Adam asked me yesterday on Facebook about life in Charleston. I lived in Charleston 12 years. My first day of class, Adam, at College of Charleston, I lived about 5 blocks from campus. I walked down Calhoun Street with water up to my knees the first day of class, and I was like, and that was just a high tide plus a rainstorm. It really did not have anything to do with the hurricane. But Charleston being right at sea level, and they're expecting a significant storm surge today with high tides at 11:30. So everything downtown is going to flood yet again, even though they spent $1 billion to help flooding. Some things are just inevitable when you're that low to the ground. So I fully expect, and by the way, that was August of '89. And then a month later, we welcomed Hugo. So I was a freshman in college for Hurricane Hugo and saw the devastation there. I was probably immune to it to some degree, in the sense of I didn't really understand what it meant. I was too young to really grasp it, but holy cow. And the beauty about Hugo was Charleston didn't look like it did today back then. I mean, they really used, they had good leadership in place. And so they took what was a horrible, devastating event and turned it into something promising. And so there are things that can be done with the resources and the insurance dollars that flow into a community after devastation. And Charleston took full advantage. I don't think they would be where they are today had it not been for good planning and really doubling down on beautification and some quality things in Charleston. So, but that give kudos to Mayor Riley down there back in the day, because he really did a remarkable job. So others are going to have to do the same thing. That's my point. I'm seeing some clicks here. All right.
So how many times did you evacuate, Carl?
I think we evacuated Charleston all said 4 times while I was there. One I wrote out. One, it was 96.
Andrew.
Yeah. And that one came through, and I escaped up to my parents' house up in North Carolina, and it followed me there and hit us there. So that was dumb. Should have stayed and had a hurricane party in Charleston, but I didn't. Yeah, but during the 90s, the East Coast got beat up all the time. I think they had 3 or 4 major hurricanes in the mid to late 90s, hit Wilmington area. And Charleston was always planning to go to Charleston before it bumped up and caught the jet stream and moved on up a little bit. So Gulf Stream. So 3 or 4 times, I think it was how many times I evacuated, none bigger than Hugo. That was a doozy.
I was at CFC 96 to 01. I evacuated 3 and then rode out 1.
I tell you, Cat 1s, you can find some nor'easters that come through. They're just as strong as a Cat 1, but 2s, 3s, and 4s are another level. I assume to be someplace dry with electric. I don't really appreciate electricity until I don't have it. And usually there's a beautiful day following a hurricane, and then it gets hotter than hell again. So without electricity, it's no fun. All right, what else we got for folks today? This might be a brief one today because Rich, you got anything going on?
We got a lot going on, but since the track moved a little bit to the north here in Columbia, it's going to be a little bit easier on us. We'll get less rain than we originally predicted, and it'll be out of here late tonight. I think it will just be partly cloudy tomorrow. So Sumter, Clarendon County, those folks will get a lot more rain than we will get. So we're dodging it. We're going to be wet. We're going to be windy, but we're going to be fine.
Good. That's good news. And lo and behold, Clemson made a good call, keeping their game tomorrow night. I think they had more at risk to try to move around with game day, ESPN's game day and everything coming. So, but shout out to the Gamecocks, good win last night. And they got it in before the bad weather, which was, they were rolling the dice as well. And actually it worked out. So,
it was breezy out there.
Well, I bet it was a little breezy out there and chilly.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't worn a pullover in a while. This is awesome. All right. Got a few announcements and then we'll, so we got just a bunch going on at the chamber. And so for y'all that, I know we bombard you with some emails, but just as a reminder, Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock at the Richland County Library, we're having our monthly issues meeting, but more importantly, we have 5 candidates for Richland 1 School Board will be in attendance. So if you have an interest in Richland 1 and want to see how we're doing or want to talk about it to board members, there are a couple current and a couple that are vying for an open seat. We have 5 candidates will be there at 8 o'clock. So we welcome you to join us for that conversation. Also on the 18th, we're having a second meeting in the Northeast. We're going to be hosting all 12 candidates for the at-large seats at Richland 2. So if you have an interest in Richland 2 and want to pepper those guys with questions, we welcome it. And so join us for that. More, you'll get something in your email, and I'll talk about it next week as well. But on the 18th is our Northeast meeting that will be focused on Richland 2. Also, hold on, Susan, what date? Welcome breakfast on the 19th. We're welcoming our new Commanding General Jason Kelly at Fort Jackson. We were able to host a breakfast for him. We're going to have it at the USC Alumni Center on the morning of the 19th. So we're trying to show him a great turnout and welcome him to town. So please join us for that. And a week from last night is going to be our gala. I've talked about that ad nauseum. So we hope y'all have got your tickets for the gala, and look forward to seeing y'all next Thursday night with my favorite band, the Embers, featuring Craig Willard, will be there with bells on. So lots going on for this busy month of October that starts tomorrow. I cannot believe we're already in October. It is nuts. But how about any last pearls of wisdom that we have? Anybody?
Put this in the chat. Rain or shine tomorrow, Jam Room Fest on Main Street. The Jam Room recording studio has been around for years and helped a lot of musicians in this town and all over the state and country.
Hey, good stuff. What time?
Starts at noon.
Good.
2
All right.
stages. I think goes till probably like 8.
Awesome. And the weather should be clearing out. So everybody should have plenty to do this weekend and clean up the leaves in the yard. But listen, thanks for joining on a wet Friday. I'll be here. I may be a little foggy, but I'll be here next Friday morning. the day after gala, post gala fatigue. How's that? But we will welcome you here. Thanks for being here today. Y'all be safe today. And again, look out for your neighbor. Try to avoid being out if you have to, unless you have to. But thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next Friday morning right here. So take care. Be good. See you.